Came here as fast as I could.
Oh! Someone needs a brown marker.
If you were having doubts about whether you were going to watch Toy Story 5, the new trailer for the 5th movie of the longest-running animated franchise in history probably made you want to watch the next adventure of Woody, Buzz, Jessie, and their friends. But did you catch a reference to another historic Pixar movie in the trailer? Or that the animation plays a pretty harsh joke on Woody's voice actor, Tom Hanks?
Thank you.
Right at the beginning of the trailer, we can see Bonnie's creativity blooming with her toys. Somewhat like what happened at the beginning of Toy Story 3, when we see Andy imagining a battle between the villain Mr. Potato Head and his wife against the heroes Buzz, Jessie, and Woody, which is definitely a very cool reference. And later, when Bonnie's mom calls her, we can notice some really cool details. One of them is that you can see that the exact same toilet paper she used to make Knifey's veil at her wedding with Forky is used to make a bow in the cathedral where the ceremony is taking place. When Bonnie receives her new toy, we can notice some interesting details on the lily pad box. For example, we can see that the manufacturer's name of the new Toy Story villain is Pond, which makes total sense since Pond is exactly where frogs live. And if you haven't noticed yet, lily pad is a frog-shaped tablet. And frogs, well, they live in a pond. Nice pun, Pixar.
Thank you.
At the same time that Bonnie opens her box and gets super happy with her new toy, we can see something kind of sad happening. Jessie and her trusty horse, Bullseye, are thrown on the chair and are literally with their eyes turned toward the girl and her new toy. And their expressions are not happy at all.
Aww.
Furthermore, we can notice that the little girl keeps playing with the lily pad for quite a while, and Jessie and Bullseye are still there in the exact same place and position, totally sidelined. Bonnie gets so disconnected from the world playing with her tablet frog that even the robot vacuum bumps into her because she has been lying on the floor for such a long time. And speaking of the robot vacuum, we can see that its charger is right there in the background, behind Jessie and Bullseye. At the same time, we can see that Bonnie's dad is playing some little game on his cell phone, which I couldn't figure out what it is, while the girl plays with the tablet. The ironic thing is that he tells the girl that her screen time is over. But how can he ask that of the girl if he isn't setting an example himself, right? Right after that, in the next scene, we can see that above Bonnie's bed, there are 3 frames with 3 rainbows, probably drawn by the girl herself. These drawings seem to be a reference to Sunnyside Daycare, which appears in Toy Story 3, whose logo is exactly a beautiful rainbow, and where the toys meet Lotso, who is considered by many to be the greatest villain of the franchise to this day.
Where's your kid now, Sheriff?
Another interesting detail that we notice in this same scene is that on the window of Bonnie's room, there is a letter A. Could this perhaps be a reference to Andy, the original owner of the toys? After all this, Jessie apparently decides to have a serious talk with Lilypad, who couldn't care less about the new sheriff of the toys. Instead, the tablet frog starts scrolling through the topics of an internet forum called Ribbit, which is clearly a parody of Reddit, the largest debate forum site in the world. Besides that, it seems the name Ribbit wasn't chosen by chance. After all, that is exactly the sound that some frogs make when they croak. And Lilypad is a female frog. Once again, a pun on the amphibian animal class. Still talking about the debate forum that Lilypad is looking at, we can notice some debate topics that have been occupying the people who live in the Toy Story reality. For example, the first forum that appears asks for tips for anyone traveling to the snow. You can even see that there are some snowman emojis that slightly resemble Olaf. Could this be a hint that Frozen 3 is going to be released soon? I sure hope so. Now, something happens that only the oldest Pixar fans will notice. The next forum has the following question: how deep is the ocean? And right below, we can see a picture of the bottom of the sea. However, that image already appeared in another massive Pixar hit many years ago. This sea bottom is the same one that appears in Finding Nemo, a movie from 2003. It appears in the scene where Marlin is chasing Dory. So, had you noticed that? Moreover, if you look closely at the forum post, you will see that some of the participants' reactions are made by an octopus emoji, which is definitely very suggestive and reminds me of another character. Only this time from the movie Finding Dory, which is the Finding Nemo sequel released 13 years later. Of course, we are talking about Hank, who becomes friends with the little fish who has memory problems. If you're into movies, video games, and even animated shows from pop culture, then you definitely don't want to miss the chance to subscribe to the channel right now. As a sign of hope and venting, Jessie turns on a walkie-talkie with the letter W, which we discover is a reference to Woody's name. And on the other side, Woody has an identical walkie-talkie with the letter J, revealing that this is a direct line of communication between the old and the new sheriff of the toys. Next, we see Woody walking along a tree branch to rescue a toy that looks like a masked Mexican lucha libre wrestler stuck in a kite. And at that moment, we can see that 2 characters from Toy Story 4 will return, even if briefly. Bo Peep and Duke Kaboom. Woody then answers his friend's call and returns to Bunny's house, reuniting with his friends. And it is at this moment that we see Pixar do something that is funny and sad at the same time. A light reflects off Woody's new bald spot, temporarily blinding his fellow toys. Of course, toys don't lose hair, but the scene is a joke directed at Tom Hanks, who has been Woody's voice actor since his inception in 1995, upon the release of the first Toy Story movie. This is because if we compare the Tom Hanks from 1995 and the one from 2026, we can see that he has much less hair, just like Woody, which means that this is a signal from the Disney Pixar team that officially our most famous animation cowboy is getting old after all. More than 30 years have passed. Right after that, we see that behind Woody's boots and legs, there is a blackboard with clouds drawn on it, and it probably wasn't Bonnie who drew those clouds, but rather one of the girl's older toys. That's because these clouds are a clear reference to the cloud-filled wallpaper that was on the walls of Andy's room when he was still very young. Additionally, on the wall behind Woody, we can see another rainbow sticker posted, serving as yet another confirmation that Bonnie really loves rainbows. When Woody and Buzz are apparently trying to negotiate with Lilypad, which apparently doesn't work out very well, the green frog-shaped tablet starts downloading some information, perhaps even sending recordings of the toys moving. And if you zoom in on the villain's screen at that moment, you will notice that in each of the windows, there's a word that we can make out: Ladybug. Could this be a reference to one of the iconic characters from another historic Pixar animation, A Bug's Life? Since one of the saviors of the anthill was exactly a ladybug. But there is a better theory. Lilypad was probably sending the footage to one of Bonnie's friends, the one who owns a red version of the evil tablet with black polka dots, just like a ladybug, indicating that her plan might really be to expose the toys to everyone in the world. Following along in the trailer, we can notice something very interesting that we are sure you didn't even realize. Bonnie throws Jessie and Bullseye into the back seat of her family's car. And if you pause at that moment, you will see that there's a black person wearing red clothes next to the scene. This is probably the same girl holding a blue version of the Lilypad who looks at Bonnie with surprise when she shows exactly Jessie and Bullseye. Furthermore, everything indicates that the scene where Bonnie and the three girls who were on the stairs are gathered together, and each of them is messing with their own tablet, logically must have happened right after, showing that the process of Bonnie pushing her toys aside seems to be happening because of peer pressure from her new friends. Then comes the moment that many have been waiting for. An army of Buzz Lightyears appears on the edge of a lake, and apparently they are arriving at a campsite, since there's a tent in the background. Right after, we can see several of these exact same Buzz action figures in the background of the scene where the original Buzz is with Jessie and Woody. And that's not all. Besides the multiple Space Rangers, we can see several toy horses in the background too, which are the exact same toys that appear riding in the parking lot with our protagonists. And in this scene of the toys riding in the parking lot, we can see that the other three new characters are also together with Jessie, Buzz, and Woody. Like Smart Pants, we have a scene in the movie where Buzz and Woody try to subdue Lilypad without much success. Even so, we manage to notice another hidden detail in the background. We can see Bonnie's name written in colorful letters on top of her coloring desk. Later, when we see Buzz and Woody about to start a new adventure outside the confines of Bonnie's room, we can catch a quick glimpse of a mousetrap right there in the little girl's family garage. After that, we can see that the two characters, longtime friends, need to hold on to a car, and you can even tell what make and model it is. If you look closely, you will notice that near the head of our Space Ranger, there is the acronym TS5, indicating that Bonnie's dad drives a sports Tesla. We've reached the end of the video, but we're leaving 2 awesome videos for you to check out even more details and hidden Easter eggs from your favorite movies and shows.